So, I wanted to come on here and talk about the Salt and Pepper movie. Um, it was produced by Queen Latifah, I believe, and Sandy Pepper Denton and Cheryl Salt James, I believe is her last name. No Spinderella was involved, which I thought was extra shady. First of all, because you know, first of all, why was this movie? I don't understand why this movie was 3 hours long. But all the other biopics didn't nearly get as much time as that. Um, I don't get how on the Clark Sisters movie, which was arguably the best, you know, biopic that we've seen, black, biopic from artists, music artists, definitely the best biopic that we've seen. But that was of five people. They were documenting five sisters, okay, and they only gave us an hour and some change, and it was jumping parts, and and it still ended up being overall a good movie, but still it's like, how can you document five people's lives, but it's only two on here, well really three, but they X the third one out, but two, and they get 3 whole hours. What deal did Salt and Pepper strike that did nobody else strike with Lifetime? Um, for me, growing up, this is what I knew of Salt and Pepper. Uh, so for me, Salt and Pepper was always the three of them growing up until I got older, and I did some research or whatever, or I learned some things. Um, Salt and Pepper to me was always salt, pepper, and spin. That was Salt and Pepper for me. I did not know the whole history of Salt and Pepper, of how it started off as, really, it started off as Salt and Herbie, her boyfriend. Then it went from Herbie fading into the background. Then they got Salt and Pepper. Then they went to a whole team of people. Then it went to, they're bringing in Spinderella as the group. Dropped that Spinderella, and then got the Spinderella that we know. And then it ended up being that. But I didn't know that whole history. I'm just talking right now, y'all. Favorite song by Salt and Pepper, favorite single by Salt and Pepper is What a Man, went in vogue. I used to listen to that song constantly, played that song constantly. Favorite video by Salt and Pepper is Shoot, you know, for obvious reasons. That beach scene, child. Ooh. So anyway, gotta think it's mama for a butt like that. Anyway, so yeah, I've always liked Salt and Pepper. I've always liked what they gave me. But like I said, I've always thought of Salt and Pepper as a trio, not a duo. I realized that they were a duo, at first when I watched old videos like, Push It and stuff. And, but Spinderella was right up there, right? When she's spinning the records up there. So, I mean, how can y'all just leave that girl out like that? Okay, so anyway, let's just get to the review. Well, no. Where I want to go with this, y'all. I don't want to forget this, so I'm going to talk about this first. DJ Spinderella, she had some choice words for Salt and Pepper, as she should. Shoot. She says, DJ Spinderella speaking out about being excluded from the production of Salt and Pepper biopic that premiered on Lifetime. DJ Spinderella Roper who was a member of the group from 1987 until 2019, was fired by group members Cheryl Salt and Sandy Peppa, and later sued for breach of contract. The trio later reached a confidential settlement. Sorry, but I gotta speak out about Lifetime special, Roper tweeted Saturday. Too often black women who have made meaningful contributions in their industry are left out of historical narratives. Absolutely. And this is from black women that's doing other black women like this. Says she continued, back when Salt-N-Pepa was building our legacy, darling, which is rooted in empowering women, I could not have dreamed that this same group would one day disempower me. That's like, could you imagine? Because I know technically at one point with Escape, they, the other group members, got together a contract to basically, the group members and Candy was having issues, and Candy kind of wanted out of the group, and it was issues going on, and they sent over a contract for her to sign it to be technically out of Escape, and so Candy signed it. But now they're back, okay, and whatever. I guess they're back, legally. I guess everything is back okay with Escape. But you see now they have the Escape 3, with Tiny, Tasha, and Tamika. Minus Candy, but Escape is still Candy, Latasha, Tamika, Tiny. But could you imagine them doing Candy like this in the biopic? Whenever that Escape biopic is happening, I do not want Lifetime to get it. God, maybe if they have complete control, maybe it'll be okay. I don't know, but I don't know. There's definitely a part of me. I don't want to completely bash this film or any of these biopics, because these are all artists that I like, that I grew up on and stuff, and I want to support any and everything that's black, for sure. But I just want the best. I feel like our people deserve the best, and it's just not. It's not it. Now, I don't know if money could possibly be an issue. It's always funding and production. All that costs a lot of money. All that is a lot. And so I guess Lifetime offered people the best deals. But, I mean, my God. Like, I don't know. Y'all feel me? Things just have to be together for me. Things just have to be in order. If you're going to do a good biopic, do a good biopic. It don't matter if it's going straight to the movie theater or it's going straight to our homes on the television. It needs to be good. And once again, disappointment. Once again, it wasn't all bad, the movie, obviously. I learned a lot of information, but no. And mainly what's leaving a bad taste in my mouth is how they did Spin. That girl had been with y'all since the 80s. What, y'all met first? Okay, so what? But she was right there with y'all. I mean, y'all wasn't Salt-N-Pepa dipping it and doing it like that before Spin came in. Y'all got some of y'all biggest hits with Spin in the group. So it's just, I don't know. But like I said, could you imagine Escape doing Candy like this? When they've been with Candy since the very beginning. Actually, they brought Tiny in as the last and final member of Escape. Okay? But Candy, Tamika, and Latasha was together from the very, 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 very beginning. When they were children. And then obviously they got Tiny, and Tiny was a child. It was all around the same age, teenagers or whatever. But I'm just saying, could you imagine just because Candy is, signed the contract to technically not be in the group or whatever, similar to how they did Spinderella and stuff, but could you imagine them doing Candy like that? Like, no, that would never happen. So how can y'all do this girl like that? Am I missing something? Y'all tell me in the comment section if I'm missing something. But it's just morally wrong. Like, I don't care what went on. I don't care if y'all still speak to this day. If y'all still friends, it don't matter. You just don't do people like that. Like, that girl is a part of y'all history, y'all legacy, just as much as y'all are. Peppa done went out there, got them new hips, and that booty looking like Yeti. Salt done ate up all the salt in the world. Salt about to pop. Salt looked like that little boy on Willy Wonka that was the blueberry. Salt about to pop. Y'all so shady for doing that girl like that. Ooh. So anyway, let me see. Cinderella congratulated the actress who portrayed the group, but added that she does not support the movie. There's nothing more unacceptable than a woman being silenced by another woman, she tweeted. She also revealed she'll be telling her own story in due time. Let's see. The great news is I'm in the final stages of writing my memoir, a personal journey navigating through life, relationships, and the industry that raised me. 30 plus years is a lot of content, and I'm ready to share, Spin said. That's awful. That is awful. I just don't understand. Why be selfish? It's so silly. It really, really is. And it's not like we don't know who the girl is. We know who she is. Like I said, I grew up with Salt-N-Pepa as a trio. You know, I didn't grow up with Salt-N-Pepa as just pepper and salt. You know, but like I said, to me, Cinderella's always been there. Two of my favorite songs by Salt-N-Pepa included Cinderella. So, I mean, and she was on the album covers with them and stuff. So, it's just like, how? The girl was in the film. She barely got 2 words to say it. I mean, she didn't say nothing. Y'all just portrayed her as hot in the tail. She was younger than Pepper and Salt. And so they was kind of, mommying her in a way. They kind of, was looking out for her at times, which is cool. But they just portrayed her as a fast little girl, child. A mess. And this movie was 3 hours long for what? All we got was them hopping in and out of the bed with men and having babies. For the most part. I don't know. Let's talk. So Salt-N-Pepa, they met in New York. Salt is from Brooklyn. Peppa is from Queens. They met at community college. Salt was working at Sears call center, and she got Peppa a job. Also, Martin Lawrence was working there. That was cool. A little history there. Like I said, Salt was with Herbie, her boyfriend, which turned into the producer and I think the songwriter, who's writing the beats. And, they tried to do a Bonnie and Clyde, Ashford and Simpson, Tammy Terrell and Marvin Gaye, duo, male-female, boyfriend-girlfriend duo, rap duo. It didn't work, apparently. He didn't like his voice. Salt sounded good. So they ended up bringing in Peppa from the very beginning, which is weird to me. From the very beginning, Herbie was nasty towards Peppa. He thought that she was ghetto. He said that he did not think that she... He kept putting Salt against Peppa. Constantly. It was constantly a thing of them going against each other. Oh, well, Salt can do it. Why can't you do it? Salt looks like this. Why can't you look like that? It was very putting women against other women. And I did not like that. And, so, they started to do that. They started to, do a song, that, Herbie was all over. I think he wrote the song, wrote the lyrics, whatever. Herbie's very talented. He ended up not being ish, but he was talented. And so they was dissing Dougie Fresh. And somebody else, another rapper from back then. They didn't want to give the girls a chance because they were women. It was a rap duo that was female. Y'all know all the issues that come with that. They ended up giving them a chance. They ended up doing well. They ended up booking a venue, and they did well. So then there was a guy, some random guy that came up and took a picture of them. So then he was like, I'll give you a copy, whatever. He was like, okay. So a little later on, they went to another venue where Salt-N-Pepa was the headliner. So it was very excited. It was getting paid a good bit at the time. And, it was a moment. So they get to the, outside the venue, and there's a security guard right there. He was just like, yo, this is Salt-N-Pepa, let us see him. Herbie. And the guy was just like, what you talking about? Salt-N-Pepa's already on stage, man. Like, this is like, no, Salt-N-Pepa's already here. What are you saying? He was like, no, this is Salt-N-Pepa. This is the real Salt-N-Pepa. So then Herbie saw the guy that took the picture of Salt-N-Pepa. He was working with them in some kind of capacity. And then found out that the guy was basically, he took a picture of them basically to give like an outline to his version of Salt-N-Pepa, which is the fake Salt-N-Pepa. So Herbie went on stage, said, this is not the real Salt-N-Pepa, scamming. Child, Herbie ran outside. The guys ended up catching up to him, beat the dog crap out of Herbie. Salt came around like, I'm from Brooklyn. That's my man. Get up off him. I'm from Brooklyn. They end up knocking Salt down to the ground, child. And so the next scene we see is them at this diner, and that's when we meet the first Spinderella, who ended up not working out because, she didn't show up for something, and so they fired her. But anyway, so we got that spin, and just check my notes, child. And by that time, I believe, I'm probably bouncing around, but whatever. By that time, Peppa, she was meeting men as time went on, They smiled at Peppa, and the next thing we saw was them in the bed. It was real quick. Peppa was young. Peppa was having fun. Peppa was spicy. She's definitely the Peppa. For sure. She's definitely a lot more, and I don't mean like in a sexual way, but she's definitely a lot more open than Salt, in terms of like personality. She's more spontaneous. She's more down for whatever. She's more fun. Salt is a little bit more, conservative, I guess. Definitely, in real life, for sure. So, Peppa met this guy, whatever, was talking to him, whoop to whoop, had moments. Peppa, she ended up getting pregnant by this guy, that she met at the bar. And she ended up telling him he was not excited about it. That's when she had her son, Tyran. And he basically, he said that I thought that, you were on the pill or whatever. She was like, nah, like I didn't know this was an issue. He was like, well, it is. And she was like, oh, okay, well, whatever. I'm having a baby. So that was that, child. By this time, Salt had realized that Herbie was cheating on her, child. Some girl called and said, hey, sis, is this Salt? She was like, yeah, that's Salt. Who was this? She was like, don't worry about it. You'll find out soon, but I think you need to change your sheets down there, or not, in the basement. So, she pretty much never looked at Herbie the same. She never told him about that situation. So, yeah, that was a mess. This whole time on the movie, they kept showing Salt back and forth in the bathroom throwing up. I didn't understand it. But then I found out it was because she was suffering from bulimia. So, she suffered from that, and being in the industry, being a woman, all the pressures they put on women in the industry, and just in life in general, it's just really sucky how women have to be a certain kind of way and look a certain kind of way to be appealing to men and other women. Yet men can be just as slouchy and sloppy and average looking and below average and nasty looking and still have sex appeal and still get women and still get things, right? So, You know, I didn't know that whole time. She was struggling the whole time to be skinny, but she's definitely made up for it now in real life for sure. Me and Salt look like we both tipping the scales around the same number. Absolutely. Shouts out to Salt. So anyway, let me see what else going on, child. Like I said, they got rid of the spin, brung in the new spin, child. Salt-N-Pepa ended up doing well. At one point, Herbie he ended up being very bold with his cheating, and he was missing appointments. He wasn't there. You know, he was dipping out early. So one of the producers or whatever, one of the writers convinced Salt that maybe she should, step out on her own and start to write her own stuff. And so that's when they gave us Express Yourself. Y'all remember that? And, Salt ended up, doing her thing without Herbie being there. I think by that time she had probably clocked out from Herbie. She was still with Herbie. She still cared about Herbie. She still loved Herbie. But she kind of at that point knew what Herbie was about. But in a way she needed Herbie. So she just let it go. She blocked it out of her mind, I believe. So yeah, she started writing her songs and, doing it. Salt-N-Pepa, they wanted a different contract. They had a moment where one of the guys, somebody, told her that they were getting beat out of their money. They were selling records, and they still had the same kind of deal that they had on their first record. And they had sold a lot, and so now it was time to go back and renegotiate their contract and get more money. And so they helped them out with that, and so yeah. Eventually, they ended up getting rid of Herbie altogether. So that was cool. This whole time, Salt was kind of battling whether she should still remain in the group or not. For a long time, she wanted to give herself over to Christ. And, she was just getting tired of a lot of stuff. The hits kept coming. They kept doing their thing. Later on, they gave us, it's when they gave us Shoop. The Shoop scene was everything. I enjoyed that moment. It definitely took me back. Yeah, that was cool. Then, Peppa and Salt, they had kind of started to venture off in different ways. At one point, Peppa met Tretch from Naughty by Nature. Tretch is also the father of her daughter, Egypt. Y'all see Egypt on Growing Up Hip Hop. And so, yeah, so Tretch was a fool. Tretch was violent. Tretch was a drunk. Tretch was a lot. Talented but crazy as all get out, honey. Good looking man, but crazy as all get out. So, by that time, Salt, she had started to, like I said, venture off on her own. She wanted a different kind of life. Pep and Tretch situation was real reckless. It was that thug love, child. We fighting each other, but I loved it, man. Y'all know. So, he ended up showing out. I think at one point he was jealous of Peppa. For real. I forgot to talk about earlier. Earlier, it was, Herbie and Salt when they first went to go, try to get a record deal. The guy ended up giving them a record deal, but once they left the office, Herbie tried to convince Salt that she needs to get more money than Peppa, saying that he was trying to divide them. He needed Peppa, but he was trying to divide them from the very beginning. And I don't know if it was jealousy. I don't know. It was probably jealousy. Or if he was just selfish. He just wanted to keep all the money for him and his women. I don't know. But, yeah, I tried to convince Salt, look, you can do what you want to do with your money, but, your voice is mainly on the song and all that kind of stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't know that Salt was that much of a writer, like back then. And, did Salt participate? I knew eventually she did. But did Salt participate back then in the songwriting? Did she have producing credit? Did she rap mostly? Did she rap more than Peppa? Because To my understanding, I thought they were both kind of equal on everything. I don't necessarily. They're both super talented, Peppa and Salt, but they both admitted at the beginning they were not rappers. They were kind of, coached into this thing that it ended up sticking and being obviously their destiny. But at the beginning, neither one of them really wanted to rap, and I never put Salt over Peppa in terms of talent. I thought they were all talented, and Spinderella included. I thought they were all equally talented, but and not saying they're not, but I'm saying did Salt have more of a hand, more of a foot in their music history than Peppa did? Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know in the comment section. I'm not talking about in terms of, obviously I knew, they brought Peppa in, whatever, and then later on brought Peppa because the group was Herbie and Salt. But I'm saying, like, do Peppa got more credits than do Salt got more Do Salt got more credits than Peppa? Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Y'all tell me in the comment section. We'll talk, child. But yeah. So Peppa and Trench was a mess. Y'all stay with me. If y'all watched the film, everything I'm talking about making sense. If y'all didn't watch the film, watch this review first. And then go back and watch the film. Then come back and watch this review. Okay? So anyway. Yeah. So it was a mess. That thug love. We got hood love. What it was given. Let me see. So, they had got married. Peppa and Trench, child. And then Salt had got pregnant by her second boyfriend. They did the Arsenio Hall show. They were talking. Arsenio Hall mentioned that Salt was pregnant. And, they thought, because everybody know Herbie, they thought that the baby was Herbie's, but it was by another guy who ended up being, her husband. I think he's still her husband to this day. He was a good guy. But he was upset about the fact that people did not know that he was the father or whatever. So, yeah. And Salt read him. Salt was like, look, I was with Herbie, but you pursued me anyway. And Herbie's famous, just like we famous. So, just to not create a moment, just to not create a headline or whatever, I just said, went along with it. I understand why he was mad completely. But I do understand that she had to do what she had to do in that moment. You would rather lie in this moment than tell the truth and create a whole nother moment. So, I got it. I get it. It's good. At one point, they were performing What a Man and Shoop, and they was in Moscow and things, and so, she was telling Pep, like, look, I'm over this, Pep, I'm tired of this, it's something else to life, I need more, I'm not satisfied. Pep went to sleep on her every time. Pep didn't want to hear it. Pep likes being famous, for sure. Pep likes me and Peppa. Pep's like the spotlight. Pep likes attention, for sure. So, like I said, Herbie, he was constantly trying to put them against each other. I don't know if it was any jealousy between the ladies. I think that people just catered to Salt more. Maybe it was some colorism going on. Obviously, Peppa's not a dark-skinned woman, but she's darker than Salt. So maybe it was some of that going on. I don't know for sure, but that's in life. That's in our culture. So possibly, but I don't think any of that came from Salt. I think that came from the men that was around, and just people. Just people love to just put women against each other constantly, even if they're in the same group, which is awful. But anyway. So yeah, like I said, we didn't hear nothing from Spin. Every so often she would have a line, she would smile. Even when they did their interview, they said you can't have Salt without the Peppa, and then Spin had the Spin, and it was like the Spin, like they just kept excluding her. Like I didn't realize that back then that was happening, but I guess it was. It was just awful to see. It was awful to see. So anyway, Salt and Peppa ended up officially breaking up. Salt had a moment where in church where she felt like she was emancipated. She finally got her answer. And so she called Peppa. This is when Peppa and Trish had just got into a fight, and she said that she leaving the group. Peppa, her father had passed away. Peppa's Jamaican. Her father had passed away, and she. I felt like in a way she was a disappointment out of her siblings, because the other siblings, were in the medical field and stuff, and went on to have good careers, whatever. And she was the one that was kind of the wild child, the different one. And so she always wanted to make her dad proud. And so she felt like being in this group, being famous, being Peppa, she was finally making her dad proud. But oftentimes things did not go, things tend to not work out for her in the end. And this was another thing that did not work out for her. So she was very upset about the fact that Salt wanted out of the group and stuff, and so from that moment they haven't spoken for years. So there was a scene where it cut to 2005. VH1 wanted to honor Salt-N-Pepa. They were both apprehensive about being together again, but they got on their stage and at VH1, and they performed all their hits. Herbie was in the audience with dreads looking a fool because they were fake and they look fake, and y'all know I don't like dread wigs. I don't like wigs that look like wigs in general. So that bothered my soul. But anyway, whatever. If that's what he had, that's what he had. But it was they ended up getting rid of Herbie legally, in court and stuff, and so yes, child. So that was pretty much it. They ended up being cool, and Salt-N-Pepa is still touring and still doing their thing to this day. So shouts out to Salt-N-Pepa, but y'all asses is wrong for how y'all doing Spinderella. I just don't understand that. And they were also executive producers on their own movie, which they should be. But why Spin didn't have a right to say nothing? That's like with the Clark sisters. Even though it was a good movie, it was a decent movie compared to all the other biopics, like I said earlier. But that's just like the Clark sisters. Y'all didn't give Twinkie, I believe, nor it definitely didn't give Denise Clark no say so in the movie. The whole movie was based on Karen and Dorinda and Jackie and what they thought and how they felt in their story. That's fine. I mean, we all together, we all sisters, we share a lot. But if you're gonna include me in the movie, I need to have a part. I need to have a say so in the movie, right? A mess. A mess. A mess. A mess. I don't know how y'all gonna get out of this. Let me check while I'm on here with y'all. To my knowledge, Salt-N-Pepa ain't said nothing, and they probably ain't gonna say nothing. Cause when you wrong, what you gonna say? See, look. Try to look at this old picture. Ooh, this makeup. Ashy, honey. But look at this old picture. Salt-N-Pepa Spin. Like she was with y'all since, like, stop, y'all, please. Like, y'all so wrong. Like, come on. I type in Salt-N-Pepa Spin, is right there the whole time. Look, Salt-N-Pepa. Stroll on down. The three of them. Come on. I don't know. I don't know. That's all I gotta say. This video's long enough. I love y'all to pieces. With that said, I'm Mr. Chalaki. Mr. Chalaki on Google Plus. Follow me at It's Kingsborough on Instagram and Twitter. At It's Kingsborough89 on Snapchat. Chase King on Facebook. Mr. Chalaki on Cash App and PayPal. And as always, Run me my money or run me my fade. Run me my money the way I get paid. Stay black, stay tuned. I'll see you guys later. Bye. A mess. I just want the best for our people, you know? The best. And just to be fair, we know other folks ain't gonna be fair to us, but can we be fair to each other? Take your ego out, take your hurt out, your feelings out, and just be fair and real and tell the story. Ooh.